Coming up on Good Morning Texas.
Home Halloween dreams,
Campus Fright Night,
and haunted gingerbread houses.
All this and more coming up on Good Morning Texas. Good Morning Texas for Wednesday, October 28th. I'm Mason Carroll.
And I'm Erica Sykes. Thanks for joining us this morning for our special Halloween show. So Mason, what's your costume?
So I am a vampire with my little fangs and black and red and everything like that, which I love, which is perfect with your white, because I'm guessing an angel?
Yes, and it was so funny. We didn't even plan this, but it's kind of like darkness and light. It's so funny.
It's so perfect for a Halloween show. And Halloween, it's perfect to start us off for this week's trending topics. So obviously, if you can't tell by our costume, this week is Halloween. However, with COVID-19, trying to find the best place to celebrate can be tricky. So here are some ways to make sure that the only thing scary about Halloween this year should be your costume. First, if you do have the Halloween mask on, experts say you still need to wear a CDC-approved facial covering with it. When it comes to trick-or-treating, some cities are prohibiting it, but for those that are not, the CDC has some guidelines. Avoid direct contact with trick-or-treaters, give out treats outdoors if possible, set up a station with individual bags, treats for kids to take, wash hands before handling treats, always wear a mask, and the CDC also encourages everyone to stay 6 feet apart.
And this is so important because kids should still have an opportunity to participate in Halloween, but it is most important to be safe during.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And if people don't want to go out, the CDC does recommend trying these fun activities. Same household as you, decorating your home, or just watching a scary movie. Whether you're going out or staying in, make sure you follow these guidelines to protect yourself and others so it's all treats and no tricks.
Yeah, and that's sure to make Halloween very fun. So the UT and the UT Beautification Council just approved a nearly $2 million project to plant rows of multicolored flowers along University Avenue next year. The project will also fund 2 steel UT emblems filled with flowers as well.
That sounds so pretty. I'm so upset. I'm going to be graduating this year and I can't see it, but I'll definitely have to come back to see it when it's finished.
Yeah, and here's the bonus. They're also raising $9 million to ensure that the avenue will stay beautiful forever. So even if we can't come back next year, it'll be beautiful like that for as long as we can know. So details about the flowers and how many are yet to be determined because the project is still in the early stages, but donors can also buy specific flower beds that will display plaques with their names. UT also said they would like to create programs to get the community involved in planting the flowers as well.
That sounds incredible. I can't wait to see it. Well, onto our entertainment segment. Chrissy Teigen shared a heartbreaking essay about the loss of her son and singer John Legend's unborn son yesterday afternoon. This is the first time the actress has spoken out about the incident in almost a month.
Yeah, that's so sad. And I remember when the news first broke about the couple losing their son, and it's really important because there is a stigma around miscarriage, and that needs to be crushed.
Absolutely, Erica. I completely agree. And Chrissy really thanks her fans. In the letter, she described the miscarriage as utter and complete sadness. However, she did want to thank her fans for all the letters they have sent her, which have helped her through the healing process. In her letter, Chrissy wrote, "For weeks, our floors have been covered in flowers and kindness. Notes have flooded in and have each been read with our own teary eyes. So some social media messages from strangers have consumed my days. Most starting with, you probably won't read this, but I assure you I do." Chrissy also wants others to share their own stories and hoping that it will help other women who have gone through a miscarriage.
Yeah, and we are all certainly sending our love and supportive messages to this family in this hard time. Let's head over from news to Harshita at the weather station. Harshita, how's the weather forecast looking?
Thanks, Erica. The fall season has finally kicked off with the cold weather continuing all week. We will likely see rain this morning, with today giving us a 60% chance of precipitation, along with a high of 61 and a low of 45. But after today, it will be all sunshine to help us get through the cold. On Thursday and Friday, we will have highs of around 64 and 68, along with lows near 45 and 43. On Saturday, you might want to wear a jacket with your costume because we will have a high of 73 and a low of 48. I guess Jack Frost wants to join us for the haunting Halloween fun. After that, Sunday will be similar weather with a high of 72 and a low of 45. That's it from me. Live from the weather station, I'm Harshita Avernani.
Thanks, Harshita. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more Good Morning Texas when we get back.
Celebrating Halloween might seem a little difficult this year, but fear not. Our volunteer Parker Fenton has a few spooky ideas to help you enjoy the spooky season from the comfort of your own home.
Today, I'm going to show you 3 fun ways to celebrate Halloween at home that allow you to remain festive while staying safe. First up, to get in the Halloween spirit, I suggest putting up some cute decorations. In my household, we go a little hard when it comes to Halloween decorations. We turn our round tree out front into the great pumpkin, and we've collected many different Spooky Town scenes that we spread throughout the house. However, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get festive. As it gets closer to October 31st, many stores put their Halloween decor up on sale, even before the actual holiday. So you can grab some festive purple and orange lights and string them up around the house. We have LED lights that can change colors for any holiday or season. You can also pick up some adorable welcome mats and maybe a few skulls and tombstones to really lift your spirits. Our next way to celebrate Halloween at home is to bake and decorate some yummy cookies. Grab your favorite sugar cookie recipe and get to sprinkling. We picked up some orange, black, and purple sprinkles that we used to decorate the cookies before they went into the oven. If you don't have time or aren't into decorating cookies, you can always swing by your local grocery store and snag the classic Pillsbury Halloween sugar cookies. Lastly, and probably the most classic way to celebrate Halloween, we're going to Carve Pumpkins. Grab your carving supplies, put down some newspaper, and get to carving. We even take the pumpkin seeds and bake them for a yummy treat while we carve out our favorite designs. Put a candle in and light them up to see your creations come to life. Thanks for joining us for Halloween at Home. No matter how you decide to celebrate, make sure to stay safe and have a spooky Halloween. For Good Morning Texas, I'm Parker Fenton.
2 years ago, our Cameron Trout and Mercedes Gonzalez investigated the myth of the ghost of the Littlefield house that ended in the confirmation that she may or may not exist. Well, they are ready to put their lives back on the line this year to go explore 3 more creepy places around campus. Take a look.
Hey guys, Cameron and Mercedes back here again, going to explore some spooky places on campus.
Last time we explored Littlefield House to see if I miss Littlefield, so this time, let's see what we can find.
Let's get our spook on!
We're here at our first spooky place on campus, the entrance to UT's underground tunnels. Built in the 1930s, these tunnels expand miles underneath campus. In 1966, UTBD used these tunnels to get into the tower during the UT Tower shooting incident. Few students have gone inside these tunnels, but those who did say they found strange writings on the walls. So, you never know what might be lurking underneath your feet.
So we just arrived at our second location, the Laboratory Theater, and you can just see how warm and welcoming it already is. I randomly stumbled upon this place in my freshman year, and it always stuck with me because there was a poster in the window that looked like a man pounding on the glass and screaming at me. This place is just all around creepy, from the weird architecture to the random crayons on the floor.
We're here at our final destination, the alien ship wannabe LBJ Library and Museum. The building was dedicated to late President LBJ. The building itself looks like it's been ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie. The darkness surrounds the plaza, creating an overall spooky feeling. Shadows fill every corner, and you can even see a shadowy LBJ lurking within.
So we are sufficiently spooked out and cold, so we will be returning to our safe and warm homes pronto. For Good Morning Texas, I'm Cameron Trout.
And I'm Mercedes Gonzalez.
It's just 3 days until Halloween, so if you haven't already, it's time to start celebrating. Since many haunted houses have not opened this year, our Anna Garza decided to make her own, a very small gingerbread Halloween haunted house.
Good morning, Texas. I'm Anna Garza, and today I'm with my roommate Riley, and we're going to be building haunted village gingerbread houses for Halloween. But right now we're just picking out our houses. I think, Riley, you're doing which one?
I'm doing the bat house.
You're doing the bat, and I think I'm going to do the spider house. Okay, so we have to break off the pieces. We've made some progress on the spooky houses. They're coming along. Okay, while I'm waiting for the icing to set, I'm gonna tell some jokes. That's not how it works, sis. What is a ghost's favorite dessert?
Ghost's favorite dessert?
Yep. Give up. Ice cream! Okay, this is one that my dad told me a few days ago. What does a panda ghost eat?
Bamboo!
So now we're on the decorating stage. We'll see how they turn out. What if I just... Yeah. That was a little much. Okay, Riley, what are your favorite Halloween movies?
Okay, Nightmare Before Christmas is my favorite. I love Tim Burton.
I think my favorite is Twitches.
I haven't watched Twitches in so long.
It's such a good movie. And after much time and creativity, these are our final Halloween houses. They don't look the best, but they did taste pretty good. Unfortunately, Riley's did fall before we were able to get a good picture of it, but we did have a good time. Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. I decided to take out my fangs for this segment because today, in honor of Halloween, Erica and I will be trying some of our favorite Halloween candies, as well as giving you some interesting Halloween candy facts in the segment called Candid Candy Conversation. So, Erica, I don't know about you, but I am so excited to be trying some candy today. I usually don't eat candy, you know, it's okay, but it's always nice to like indulge around Halloween.
I know, and I picked up my favorites at HEB, and I'm so excited to taste them because I don't eat candy very much, kind of like you, so Halloween's the only time I get to really indulge in this stuff as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, okay, I guess I'll start. And I know we've had a discussion about this in the past, but so for my first Halloween candy, I have Whoppers.
See,
and I know this is a tough decision for many people, but Whoppers are so good. Okay.
I don't know anyone that likes Whoppers because of my dad.
They have a like wafer, like something in the middle, and it's just good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like these at all. If I will go as far as to throw them away if I get them in my Halloween basket, like I do not like them.
Just that's it. Well, I will say though, in speaking of Halloween baskets, in your regular like trick-or-treating stash, there's about 11,000 calories in your average Halloween basket. So I guess if you throw out a few Whoppers, even though they're good, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm kind of glad I'm over with my trick-or-treating days because I don't know if I can do that in my college years. So for my first candy, this is kind of an obscure one, and I feel like a lot of people have tried it, but I don't know. It's the Hershey's Cookies and Cream. These are so good, and I like regular chocolate, but these are like on another level, I feel like.
Those are so good. I completely agree. And like I feel like overall I really like dark chocolate, but those are such a good Halloween treat.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know, they remind me of like Oreos, but in chocolate bar form. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your next one?
So I have a giant Heath bar because it's cheaper to buy a giant Heath bar instead of an individual packet of like 1,000. But Heath bars, I know again, it's a unpopular opinion, but Heath bars are so good. They have the crunchy bits of toffee. They are chocolate as well. So I'm gonna open this up and try a bite. I can break it off. It's so good. While I'm chewing, do you want to give the next Halloween fact?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I actually really like Heath bars because my dad kind of passed it down for me, but they're so good. But my next candy is Skittles. This is kind of a classic, and like as y'all know, the most popular Halloween candy in the US is Skittles. So I guess a lot of people like them, and I always get a bunch of these in my Halloween basket, and I pretty much eat all of them. Like they're just like a staple for me.
Skittles are really good. It is surprising to me though that they are the like most picked candy, for Halloween. Because I
Yeah.
always thought like Hershey's or Reese's or something like that,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like little kids like super sugary stuff, so I don't know, maybe it's like a preference thing.
Speaking of sugar, super sugary, my last pick is candy corn. And I know that sounds so random, but candy corn's good. I can only have like 3 pieces every year, but it's really good. It's just a Halloween staple I have to indulge in every year to, get in the Halloween spirit. So, what about you? What's your last pick?
So I'll go with this one. Milk duds, okay, especially with popcorn, but these are so good. They get stuck in your teeth a little bit, but I really like the taste of them.
I completely agree. Milk duds and popcorn, that was a staple for me growing up. So I'm glad, if we can't agree on Whoppers, at least we have milk duds and popcorn.
Yeah, and candy corn's a hot topic at the studio too, but
You know what? As long as everyone enjoys their own individual candy, I think, that's what makes Halloween great. Everyone has their own taste and it's all in the fun.
yeah, and the variety in the Halloween basket can serve everyone, so super fun.
Absolutely. Well, that was sure tasty. But make sure you don't go anywhere, Longhorns, because after the break, we have an interview with a very spooky professor whom I talked with earlier this week. So make sure you stick around for that. Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. I'm here with Professor Joshua Gunn, horror enthusiast and professor of the Rhetoric of Horror class. Professor Gunn, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yay, glad to be with you.
So I guess I want to start off with what first got you interested in horror in general?
In general, it was what I watched on television. Back before even the days of cable. A lot of the local stations, I grew up in a suburb of Atlanta, would show horror movies, and I'm still an insomniac, but I'm a night person. I was always awake late at night, and would watch these pretty bad horror films in retrospect. I've since gone back and watched them all, and they didn't scare me then. They don't quite scare me now, but that's where I got interested in it as I grew up with it. And then I just became a big fan when I was a young person, 10 to 12, started doing makeup and was into masks and Halloween and costumes and all sorts of stuff. Then I became a goth kid, so horror was every day. Every day was Halloween for a good 10 years. I still wear monochromatic wardrobe here and there, but since I moved to Texas, I've discovered the color wheel. So sometimes wear, a seersucker because of the heat, but can't wear all black all the time anymore. I'm going to put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in Texas. But what, so you love horror, and I agree. I've grown up watching horror, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to take your class. But speaking of the class, what was your main interest in wanting to bring a class like the Rhetoric of Horror to UT?
Well, none of the courses that I teach are core classes. Everything that I teach is more or less an elective. Most of them have a flag of some sort, but I have a class now on science fiction that has no flag and was not deemed worthy by the flaggers of the flags that I applied for. But in general, my classes are electives. And what I study and what I teach are, issues of popular culture, currently popular politics or politics proper. My undergrad title is Professor of Political Communication. And all my classes deal with politics, typically cultural politics. So what I do when I teach is I have a certain set of things that I want to teach of the higher order thinking skills we call Bloom's taxonomy, and higher order thinking skills are sort of, applying concepts, not just memorizing them, but understanding how they work. And the concepts that I deal with are issues of race, class, gender, sex, sexuality, all these issues of identity that we wrestle with. And so, except for one class I deal with publics and political deliberation, that class is called Celebrity Culture. People are surprised when they get into class to learn we're actually talking about how publics are created through various kinds of infrastructure, beginning with the railroad, ending with the internet. But in general, I mean, just be honest with your students. My classes are somewhat of a bait and switch in that the topic is not necessarily going to reflect the content of the course, because the content of the course is always critical thinking in some way. So if you take a class in horror, it's not just, is it horror great? It's not an appreciation class, although I very much appreciate the genre and I try to teach about the genre. But it's, what can the genre tell us about larger culture? And for something like horror, it's always reflective of social problems. Almost always, horror reflects social problems. And so it's interesting to sort of read films as a way of how are we dealing with social problems. Most recently and most famously would be the horror film Get Out, and its follow-up Us, or US, depending on which way you want to read that title. Both of these take up the issue of racism in the United States. And they're horror films, but it's doing a lot of cultural politics in those films. And so my class in horror is really teaching about cultural politics through film. And you're in the class, so you probably figured that out because we're past midterm at this point. But it's not just about horror films per se. It's what horror films can help us see about the world around us. It's never just entertainment.
Yeah, it just, looking at films like The Exorcist or like The Shining or Rosemary's Baby, it just, everything digs so much deeper and it's on a deeper level. And, there's just so much to learn from the class, but I'm interested, what's your favorite part about teaching the class?
I guess my favorite part is getting people excited about something they already think they know. In some cases, introducing people to horror films when people weren't horror fans before, and now they are, after taking the class. And accommodating students and being sort of flexible about their schedules. You don't have something to do every week, as you probably know. It's every 2 or 3 weeks to give you time to sort of mold your life around doing that coursework. So I like working with students. I enjoy that part too, it being flexible and people being like, "Oh, you're so flexible," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're in a pandemic, so what am I going to do?" I didn't sign up to be a policeman. I signed up to be a teacher. So however I can help you teach is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of those are so important right now more than ever, especially with online classes. But that's all I got. Thank you so much, Professor Gunn, for being with us today and doing this interview.
Yeah, and I just want to tell students I'm teaching my Rhetoric of Horror class and Communication and Science Fiction class next semester as well. Science fiction is a new class, so we don't have enrollments quite where they need to be, so y'all take it.
Great, absolutely. Well, I will definitely look at that for my course schedule. So thank you so much. Yeah. And thank you for tuning in. That does it for our show this week, but be sure to follow us on our Instagram and Twitter at Good Morning TX for more Good Morning Texas throughout the week. Have a great day, and we'll see y'all next week.